So then Thanos and pretty much anybody else that isn't, basically just a lot of Hey folks, so I know it's been a while. It's been a month or two at least. We've been just really busy. I had a bunch of busy days where I was doing video stuff. Holly's in school. We're looking for a new house and we're looking for a new car and we're looking for a whole bunch of other stuff. So in the next couple of episodes, you might see stuff getting moved around or whatnot, depending on how frequently I update these. Anyways, today we're going to talk about spoilers. This episode isn't going to be full of any kinds of spoilers, but it's going to be filled with explanations of spoilers. Everybody knows what spoilers are. But I guess what I want to touch on is the responsibility that we have, whether we realize it or not, to allow other people to enjoy things that we have already enjoyed. For example, the first thing I want to talk about is movies. Keep in mind, all of these notes are going to be, again, my preference, and they might be a little bit on the conservative side just because I like to allow people the chance to go and experience exciting moments for themselves. I love showing people new trailers to movies and seeing their reactions to those. I love watching those reactions to trailers online. I love watching the movie and just feeling the energy of the crowd around me when something surprising or devastating or hilarious or awesome happens. My wife and I just really love going on that first night or that first couple of nights and just experiencing the energy of the other fans. It's just a really exciting time. So movies, if you're posting a review online, pretty much always blanket it with a spoiler warning. But if you're posting a video of a reaction, just be aware of these couple of things. So there's about 2 or 3 different times that you need to be aware of when it comes to spoilers in regards to anything. But for movies, first of all, release day. Now, back when I was just getting into going to the theaters quite regularly, movies would come out with early showings on, let's say it came out on a Friday. So they'd come out with early showings on a Friday. Fast forward several years to now, and you have movies that are coming out on Thursday night, for example, for a Friday showing. So there's like a 24-hour preview showing. When you go and see a movie opening night, keep in mind that probably until the following Monday or so, at least let the weekend go before you post anything about it. I think just out of respect for the people that want to go and see it. You can post reactions to it, but even those sometimes, just an emoji via text can give people a warning as to what to expect. And while they've already probably watched the trailers, hopefully they haven't spoiled it for themselves yet. I experienced that with the most recent Infinity War movie for Avengers, and I know for myself to stay away from social media, but I was going through it like crazy anyways, and I saw a couple of things that just kind of tipped me off to a few things that happened in the movie, which I wish I hadn't seen, but in the end, I still enjoyed the movie. Great movie. If the movie hasn't just been released, like if this is like a week later or something like that, I would say definitely blanket it with a spoiler warning, like I said before. But when you get to the point where movies are released on home video and you want to write a review or something like that about it, honestly, I feel like at that point, there's been plenty of opportunity to see it. People can even rent it for really cheap, for like $3. They don't even have to go to the movie theater or buy the movie at that point. I don't think you owe anybody any warning or heads up by the point that it comes out on video. Okay, and then the second thing is television. Television show is different. If you're paying for cable, you're already paying to get the television show. So at least have the thought that some people get a little bit busy during the week and don't have time to sit down on a Tuesday or Wednesday evening to watch that show, so they might need to wait till the weekend or the following week. Give at least 2 days, give 48 hours before you start posting a ton of stuff about it, just to give people that buffer period to like get a chance to watch it. If the air date was a week ago and there's already a new episode out, or there's a new episode coming out that night, I think, again, a spoiler warning is probably fine, but lots of review websites that I see post reviews 2 days, 3 days after the original air date of that previous episode. And by that point, there's hardly any spoiler warning because you know going into the article that that's what they're going to be talking about. But by the time it's 2 weeks or later from a series, I don't think you have any obligation to be responsible for other people reading or not reading your article. There's lots of stuff that you can pick up through a second or third or fourth or fifth viewing of a movie. So, and number 3, we're going to talk about books and nowadays audiobooks, because those are a big thing. We have a ton of books in our house. We have read a ton of books, but now that we have iPods, now that we've got podcasts, now that we've got iTunes or Audible or public library system, that's, I think, fantastic. But then that also means that people can go through books much quicker than they used to be able to. So as far as books go, if it's a new release, I would say give it a week before you start posting a ton of stuff about it. But if it comes down to the point where it's been past a month and people have had a chance to actually buy the book or borrow or download the book online, then I think that you don't have any obligation after that, especially if it's a book that comes out hardcover and you get around to the paperback edition, then it's just all bets are off. Video games. I don't play video games myself. I would say maybe give it a month before you start blabbing about the ending to your friends. Lastly, the important thing is to protect yourself from spoilers. There are lots of other ways that you can spoil a movie or a book series or something like that for yourself. As far as when it comes to movies, soundtracks are a pretty big deal. I love listening to the scores of movies, but I have to stay away from that score until I've seen the movie, because sure shooting, I'll get onto iTunes and I'll go to download the music and the final track will be something that gives away the ending of the movie. Now, if you're a person that really loves concerts or sports games, I think you're just kind of out of luck, because people watch sports games every single night and there is way too many to keep in mind as to when they came out and when they didn't. And if you just happen to be talking about it at work the next day, you're just out of luck. So stay off the internet if you don't want spoilers at all. I think that's pretty common sense, but I don't know if anybody actually wants to just stay off the internet. So, and of course you don't have to follow these rules at all. I'm pretty sure that the idea for this video came from an article I read a number of years ago, which I cannot find now. That article's author had written about their preferences on spoilers for things like books and movies, etc. So if you can find that article, post it below. I'll add it into the description. But I just thought that it was something to talk to you about, something that you could know a little bit more about. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again. Probably my favorite non-spoiler spoiler was posting about having just seen X-Men Apocalypse and somebody telling me, oh, I bet you that the metal guy turns out to be bad. It's like spoiling the ending for someone about Passion of the Christ.